What is going on, everybody? This is your favorite everything, JR Wisdom, back at you with another episode of the Atlanta Noir podcast. And this evening, guys, as usual, we have another great guest. And she is not particularly from the Atlanta area, but she is in the Atlanta area. And we're going to be discussing some things about this beautiful city, her experience, journey to make it here tonight on the Atlanta Noir podcast. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my special guest here. Miss Ashley, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Oh, it's the greatest day of my life. Thanks for asking. How was the drive over here?
It was good.
It was good?
Yeah, it wasn't too much traffic. A
Gotcha.
little bit, but not too much.
What part of town you guys coming from?
Lithonia.
Lithonia? I like how y'all be saying that or whatever. I have her significant other. I wish I could bring him on here in the background. We would get some good content. We're going to discuss some things here. So Lithonia, that's east of Atlanta? Is that what it's considered? Yeah. I haven't been out that part. That's why I'm asking. I've only been here since September. So a lot of the stuff I'm learning.
It's near Stone Mountain.
Near Stone Mountain?
Yep.
Everybody I keep hearing, Stone Mountain. Is that southeast? Yeah. And Decatur's east from here. Okay. Cool. So how do you like living out there? Because a lot of people, they either prefer being in the city or they like being on the outskirts. How do you like?
I prefer the outskirts.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a city person.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in the city. I prefer the outskirts.
Got you. So where are you originally from?
From D.C., Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.?
Southeast.
The district, to be specific?
Yes.
Yeah. You said, so southeast?
Yes.
So is D.C. one of those places where everybody, if you're from D.C., you have to shout out a certain side, or is there like 3 sides, 2 sides? What is it?
Sometimes people will ask you.
Yeah.
And if you just want to let them know, then yes, you can specify Southeast, Uptown.
Uptown.
Yeah. West Side.
Does anybody call it the DMV?
Yes.
They do?
People do call it that.
Okay.
But people that's from DC,
Yeah.
they don't usually say that they're from DMV. The DMV is usually reserved for people who are from Maryland.
From Maryland.
Or Virginia.
Gotcha.
Or some further part from DC. And so just to clump it all together. Because it is all connected.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time that I lived in DC, Southeast DC, full-time job in Virginia and part-time job in Maryland. So.
Man. Yeah, I think I've only been up to, I've been in the Army for like most of my adult life, and all throughout my 20s, but I've never been to DC.
Yeah.
I've never visited DC. I've been to Annapolis,
Okay.
which is, and I used to go to school in Newport News,
Okay.
but I've never been to DC. And I've always heard how, what they call it? What's it called? Is it called Chocolate City?
Chocolate City,
there we
absolutely.
Go. Shout out to Chocolate City.
Shout out to Chocolate City. My husband is from Atlanta, though.
Okay.
So I've been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, you a Georgia peach. I'm like, never. But if anything, I would say I'm a chocolate peach, not a Georgia peach.
Yeah. A chocolate peach. I know that's right. So what was life like growing up for you in DC?
It was fun.
It was fun?
Yeah. The way I grew up, my parents, they provided a good life for us. We started out in the hood, though.
Right.
We definitely started out in the hood. And we moved when I turned like 13 or 14 to the suburbs. So I got the best of both worlds. I seen the struggle.
Right.
And then I saw the come up as well. And they used to let me drive their car.
Yeah.
Go to the go-go and to the mall
Go-go.
with my friends. And yeah.
Now explain, for those international as well, what is go-go? Explain that to people.
So go-go is the native music of Washington, D.C. It's live music. It consists of all different types of instruments. It can range from drums to keyboards to bass guitars to congos. It's many different instruments. There's usually a singer, a rapper, somebody, what they call a lead talk. The lead talk will get on the mic and just kind of, I guess, like MC the whole show and lead the band on what's next and shout out the crowd and different neighborhoods and stuff like that.
Got you.
But it's live music. It's at a venue and it's just a vibe.
Got it.
Yeah.
So was DC, because we hear things about DC being like a mini Chicago. Was it like that for you growing up? Because people always say how dangerous DC is.
As far as the violence, my parents didn't really let us go outside like that. We was like shelter a little bit. So I didn't experience a lot, but I did lose people at a young age. Like my babysitter, she was 17 and got killed. She got jumped by some girls and they stabbed her. Yeah, I lost family, an uncle who was alcoholic and he got hit by a car. I've experienced things, but not really.
Right.
Yeah.
Just asking out of because I know I hear that. And I used to date because there's a large African population in DC or in the DMV.
Last time I remember, yes.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I used to date this lady from Burkina Faso who I think she owned a few spots in Baltimore. So she was in DC one night. I guess she was doing an event or whatever. And I was just texting her and I guess she was in the back of an Uber or whatever. And she saw somebody get shot, like, while I'm texting her. She was like, I just seen this dude get shot, like, right there in front of me. And she was terrified because you obviously a witness to something. You in the back of an Uber, you never know what somebody will do.
Exactly.
So I was just like, she was like, and then she called me afterwards. She was freaking out. So I was like, man, it's like that. But I'm not saying that couldn't happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So how was high school? What kind of kid were you in high school?
Oh, my gosh. High school was great. My parents, they actually owned a clothing line called Hobo.
Okay.
Which means helping our brothers out. And they was one of the first clothing lines to pave the way for what's happening now and as far as fashion is concerned in DC. And so I had a bomb high school experience. Yeah. I was a cheerleader, I was in the choir, I was in ROTC.
Yeah.
I became the co-captain of the cheerleading squad. I didn't really have a big group of friends, but I just knew a lot of people and a lot of people knew me. My mom used to let me drive her 745. Her husband had the 745, but she used to let me drive her X5 with the 22s on it. I was 17 pulling up to the go-go with my friends. Yeah, high school was really fun. And it's funny you asked me that because I just spoke to two of my high school friends, one today and one yesterday.
Nice. So y'all was a BMW family?
We were a Mercedes family before. It started out as Range Rover, then Mercedes, then back to BMW.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a BMW fan. That's why I say that. I used to be Mercedes, but now I'm definitely team BMW for sure. So you had this whole experience in high school with the cheerleading, the choir, co-captain. That's what you said, right? Co-captain. Finishing high school, where did that lead you on your journey after high school? So
I went to college. I went to a community college, and then I went to Bowie State University. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I changed my major multiple times, and then I just ended up dropping out because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to be in there getting a degree that I wasn't going to use or enjoy. Yeah. Because really at the heart, I'm an artist. So I have to love what I do. I have to be passionate about what I do for a living. And it has to mean something to me as well. So at that time, I really didn't even fully understand all of that about myself. But I know now. So I went to Bowie State University. I left, and then I went to nail school. I became a nail technician. Okay. I did nails. I did probably thousands of pedicures. Oh my God. Yeah. I still love doing pedicures. I do my husband's.
That's what's up, man. I'm just thinking in my mind right now. It's hard to get a foot rub these days, but go ahead. Sheesh.
So nail school, that led me to massage school. When I would get to the massage portion of the manicure, pedicure, all of my clients would say, oh my gosh, this is my favorite part. Are you a massage therapist? Yeah. And I would be like, no, I'm not, but maybe I should look into that. So I did. Yeah. I went to massage school. The first school I went to, it didn't quite work out. So I left that school. It was a ratchet school. I'm not going to disrespect anyone's institution, but that was my experience. And so then I went to another school, and it was great. It was about a year later because I got discouraged because that happened. Right. So I went to another massage school. I graduated, got my license in 2014, and then I moved to Atlanta.
Why Atlanta?
One, the weather,
Okay.
the cost of living, and my ex-fiance.
Yeah. So this just like a decision, a spur of the moment with your ex-fiance, or was it just he was already down here and you?
He was already here.
Okay.
And we had been talking for a couple of years.
Okay.
Maybe 2, maybe 3, something like that. And it was a conversation. It was something that I was planning on doing at some point.
Right.
I just wasn't like putting the pedal to the metal to do it. Because I was doing other things at home, as I mentioned, massage and nails, and I was making gift baskets and designing gift boxes and stuff like that. So I was doing a lot of different things at home. But yeah, so I came here to look for a job, and then I just never left.
Got you.
That's really what happened.
Okay.
It was time for me to go, and he didn't want me to go, and I didn't want to go back home, so I stayed, and I just started to build here.
And this was 2014? 2014?
Well, it was 2015.
2015.
I got my
Okay.
massage license at the end of 2014, and I moved here in 2015.
Got it. What was your impression? Because obviously you were visiting, I'm assuming, prior to that. What was your impression of Atlanta when you were here full time? And once you got here, was it like completely different living here as opposed to visiting?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love Atlanta.
Yeah.
The people are just, I don't know, it's more hospitality. People are more warm, more friendly. Not saying that people at home are not friendly, but sometimes they not.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it's unfriendly people everywhere in
For
the
sure.
world. But it's just a different culture. So you walk into a small restaurant and everyone is, good morning, how
Yeah.
you doing? Like, hey, sweetie, hey, darling. You know, stuff like that. So it was a nice change. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people from up north, or as some people say, north of the Mason-Dixon line. They always say that. I grew up in a small town in South Carolina. It's about an hour from Charleston. And it's like a normal thing. But when you start to travel and you notice how people really don't talk to people, people don't say hello, like even neighbors don't talk to each other. I don't want to say it's weird, but you get that understanding. And for some people, when they do notice that, they're like, man, this is, or calling you sir or ma'am, things like that. But that's one thing I do like about the South, and the fact of what sold me on Atlanta is that there's so many successful people of color, black folks is thriving down here, and it's just so much to do. Like for me, it's just so much to do, for sure. You move down here, you get licensed here and everything. What's the next part of your journey as far as that? How does that go?
I got my massage license about a year into me living in Atlanta. When I decided to stay, I didn't have a license here yet. So I wasn't legally able to practice massage. So I started working for an ambulance company.
Okay.
So I did that for about a year, and then I decided to go ahead and get my massage license in Georgia. So I did that, and from there, I ended up building private clients. I started my own business. I used to have a space in Cobb Galleria.
Okay.
But that was a lot with the traffic and the Brave Stadium and all that stuff in the area. And then I moved my business to Marietta. So then I stayed out in Marietta for about a year. And then I closed that one because my next step is to get a storefront. I don't want to be in a mall or in the back of someone else's office. I need visibility immediately. So I also, since I've been here, I've published my first book in 2018. It's titled Have You Watered Your Garden Today? It's available on Amazon.
That's right.
I also have became a Reiki level 2
That's right.
practitioner. I'm working on my Reiki master certification currently. What else have I done? I've earned my insurance claims adjusting license.
I see how you said earn too. Well, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you
Yeah.
have to earn all of that.
Yeah.
It's none of it is just given
Yep.
to you. It's late nights, early mornings, and being tired. But I also have published a few other books with my husband. There's another one. My favorite one is The Best of Us. It's a couples journal / scrapbook. It asks questions
Yeah.
about different memories with you and your spouse. And then there's spaces in there for you to put pictures and wristbands and ticket stubs. Anything that you've decided to keep, any keepsake. That's in reference to your relationship. What else have I done? I've earned my yoga teacher certification.
You're running it up. Yeah.
Is that it? I'm currently in real estate school.
That's what's
Because yes, I am a licensed massage therapist, but I'm a healer at the core. I am a person who loves to take care of people. And so with that being said, my biggest dream is to have an oasis. A huge oasis, a healing oasis. And I'm working with one of my friends / sisters on that. Shout out to you. You know who you are, Kia. And
shout out to Kia. Yeah. Yeah.
And so ultimately merging real estate with wellness, for me, I know that's going to get me where I'm going, and I'll be able to acquire any space and any property that I need without a third party being involved. So yeah, that is my journey.
That is dope. I'm a realtor also. Best of wishes when you get yours. I'm working on eventually get my reciprocity here in Georgia. Okay. I'm licensed in South Carolina.
Okay.
But the question though, because obviously you covered a lot of spiritual things just now listening to you. How do you know when you're a healer?
That's a great question. Number one, because of how people respond to you. And you can tell when someone is genuine, and you can tell when someone is not genuine. So you can feel it in their spirit, in their tone of voice, in their way of being. If you're a body language person, you might see it in that as well. But also people continue to come back. If they don't come back, then that might be a sign that maybe you're not who you thought you were.
Yeah.
But they come back to you and they share with you the growth, the things that they have accomplished, the things that they have overcome, the new perspectives that they have, the windows that have opened up in their mind due to whatever it is that you've talked about with the person, whatever practices or tools that you've helped them implement in their lives. So that's how I know, because people will tell you. But also when you are connected to the inner God, to your higher self as well, you begin to know what your purpose is. And it's very clear. There's no questions, there's no confusion.
That's very interesting response to that. Because I've had that conversation in the past, because some people go through trials and things in life and they end up asking questions like, why is this happening to me? Or why am I doing this? Or why is it that interactions always turn out this way? And I'm not saying that I'm a healer in any way, shape, or form, but I was told that by someone that was close to me once upon a time because of the things that I had to experience or what I had to do on my journey at that time. So that's why I asked you that question. How do you know? Because some people may be what they're supposed to be doing, but they just may be in a state of not having the direction or not having the foresight or the understanding within to know what it is that they should be doing or how they feel at the time. I can't put it in the right words right now, but
I understand. And healing can come in different forms. It's not always in a technique or a service or an experience. Sometimes it's just a conversation. Sometimes it's poetry. I'm also a poet. I'm a writer, obviously, if I publish these books. But it can come in music. It can come in food. It can come in relationships. It might be a person that you only met one time and they said something to you that stuck with you for the rest of your life. And if that really meant something to you and you hold on to it and you implement it or you allow it to transform your perspective or your thought process, that is a form of healing. So it's not always a service or a technique. Sometimes it's just a simple conversation. And yes, you are a healer because I watch your content and the things that you say to people. If they really want something more, they're going to listen to that and it's going to do something in their mind or in their heart and make them do or see things differently.
Well said. Can you explain this Reiki part? The Reiki, because I've met a few people in my life who have said that they were pursuing that and the different levels or whatever. Can you explain to the people who may not be familiar with this, the Reiki name and what it is?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Reiki is spelled Reiki, and the Rei, the Rei part, it's the universal life force. It's the universe. It's the non-physical part of you that corresponds with and connects to the non-physical things that like the God.
Yeah.
But then also the key part of Reiki is chi or energy. Again, it's that thing that lives in your body. So it's literally using the energy of the universe to heal you on the inside and on the outside. Me as a Reiki practitioner, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
All I do is I allow myself to be an instrument. I allow myself to be an avenue or a medium. Maybe that might be a good word. And so I just open myself up to allow the energy to flow through me to the receiver.
Got you.
And I usually tell my Reiki clients to have an open mind, have an open heart, have no expectation. Because when you come into anything with an expectation, you might just be dead wrong.
And disappointed.
Absolutely, because you expect it to have this magic or something like that. But that's not really what it is. Reiki may or may not be something, or I should say, when you get a Reiki session, it may or may not be some transformation that happens today. It could be something that clicks in your head a week or a month after. It could be, you might have a dream, and that dream could be replaying some traumatic thing that happened in your life. And so instead of the dream replaying exactly what happened, the dream will replay it in a way that actually empowers you and make you feel better. Because that's what happened to me. That's how I knew for sure, because I was dealing with a lot of things. My mom passed away in 2018, and it was just a lot of different things happening in my life and my family at that time. I did a lot of therapy. I had to do a lot of therapy, a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, journaling, alone time. But one of the main things that I would say Reiki has done for me as a receiver of Reiki and becoming a practitioner is that it has helped me to heal things in me that I didn't think that I could heal, forgive people that I didn't think that I could forgive. It gave me an opportunity to see a perspective about this situation that I didn't see before. I didn't ever think that it was possible. And now I'm able to be in the same room with this person, or I'm able to have this conversation with this person, or I'm able to go to this place that I just didn't think that I could go to because it hurt so bad, bring up the memories. So yes, short answer, Reiki is where the practitioner uses the energy of the universe to flow through them to the receiver for the purposes of healing on a physical and a non-physical level.
Got you. When I heard you explain that, I was thinking about something. I've never had it done, but I've heard that it's, and you may be familiar with it. I think it's called network chiropractic or something. Network is basically where it's like almost you going to see a chiropractor, but they don't actually touch you.
Oh,
it's like energy.
Cranial sacral.
That might be it, but I know it had something to do with network chiropractic or something like that.
I'm not sure I've heard of that.
What was that? Cranial what?
Craniosacral.
Yeah, what is that?
I So I don't know a lot about craniosacral, and I'm not one to try and act like I know
Right.
and talk about things that I don't know. But what I do know as a massage therapist is your cranium is your head, and your sacral area is your lower back area.
Yeah.
So there's some type of energy work that they're doing between your lower back and your
Gotcha.
your cranium, and probably some type of alignment or traction techniques as well.
Got you. Now you mentioned that book, your book. I know you and your husband, y'all published a few, but this one that you mentioned earlier, what was that? What's the book? Can you tell us a little bit about that book, the synopsis of it?
Yes. Have you watered your garden today? It's available on Amazon.
Right.
That book so Have You Watered Your Garden Today is a book that will introduce someone to living a more conscious life.
Okay.
If that is something that is foreign to you, if you are uber religious like I used to be, if you think that being conscious is evil, or if it just is intimidating to you, my book, Have You Watered Your Garden Today, it takes all of the extra stuff out that could be intimidating, that could feel evil, that could be confusing, and it just gets straight to the point. It just gets straight to the point of what these different thought processes and ways of being and practices are, why they matter, how to incorporate them into your life. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a poet, so I included some poetry and some quotes written by me in the book.
Awesome. Well said. I like that part about, you said you have a background of being uber religious.
Oh yeah.
And I know I like how you said that it can be perceived as being consciousness can be perceived as evil, and even being spiritual can be perceived as evil for those who have dogmatic views or are within the church. With that, I welcome conversations with anyone because I'm a student of many different schools of thought, books and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me what someone's perspective is, but I think some people obviously are raised a certain way. So to step outside anything, to open your mind to other things, or to actually do an investigation on some things is kind of like, as some would say, inviting the devil in, or the devil is inside you for wanting to question certain things.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, I like the way you put that, as far as this book basically takes out all that and simplifies, for lack of a better term, so you can approach things from a different lens. Yeah.
Because religion is not bad. Religion is wonderful when you use it properly. I think it's wonderful. But there's some evil spiritual people. There's evil religious people. There's a lot of people wearing crystals and,
For sure.
and vegan sandals and all of that stuff. And they out here backstabbing and doing all types of things. And yeah.
All right. We're going to change it, switch it up here back to you coming down here to Georgia, and you're trying to get established and everything. So you said, were you engaged when you moved down here, or
no?
You weren't?
No, I was not engaged. We got engaged once I stayed.
Right.
Like maybe within the first 90 days of me being here, he gave me the ring. Yeah.
So, how old were you at this time?
28, I think.
28. Okay.
Around 28.
Okay, so 20. Oh, so you weren't like a young. I'm thinking that you were probably like early 20s or something. So you were already definitely a grown woman by this point.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I'll be 38 in March.
Yeah.
So I've lived quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I was just saying in terms of actually that time, him proposing or whatever, you actually weren't just like some young girl like, oh, he proposed to me, let's get married or whatever. So at that time, did you know what you wanted at that time in life as far as in a partner? Or did you just think it was just something to do? Like,
no, I knew that I wanted a man that had a solid mindset, a man who was clear on where he was going. I knew that I wanted a man who was health conscious about his physical, his mental, his emotional, his spiritual. I wanted a man who had a relationship with the Most High. I wanted a man who was just clear on who he was, and he stood 10 toes and who he is. Oh yeah, no, I knew what I wanted, but I was still growing in so many different ways that even if I did have that person, I don't even know I wouldn't have done it properly. Because there are some areas where I messed up in that relationship. Oh yeah, I wasn't perfect.
So after that relationship ended, did you take like as they say, a sabbatical? Did you go on a hiatus? Did you take a break from dating and relationships, or did you just jump right back out into dating?
No, I'm sensitive. I need time.
Yeah.
But we broke up and we stayed living together for 9 months. We stayed.
How does that work? Because you hear people doing that. Even people be like, "Yo, I live with my baby mama. We or whatever, but I'm single."
So my name was on the lease, and I didn't want to just leave with my name on the lease and go get a whole new place. And so it was just better and easier and more convenient for me to stay. We had a three bedroom house. So I had already had all of my stuff in that other room anyway. Like that was my closet. You know, that was my little space that I created. So naturally, I just started staying in that room. We were friends. He lost his mom 5 days after I lost my mom. And then we had broke up about a month before both of our moms passed away. So it was too much happening for us to be toxic towards each other anyway. So it actually worked out where we didn't have many problems within that 9 months.
Got you.
Anytime we tried to talk about us or the relationship, it went left. So we steered away from those conversations. And when I moved out, I moved into my apartment. I needed rest. I needed time to heal from the relationship, heal from the loss of my mom, the things that was going on with my family at the time. So yes, I took about 1.5 to 2 years before I got into a relationship. So I moved out in 2019 and I got into a relationship with my husband in 2021.
Okay. Yeah, that's a hot minute. I noticed a common thing. I'm not talking about you, but a common thing when you meet a woman, she hasn't been dealing with anybody for 2 years. That seems to be the magic number. I'm not lying. I've been celibate for 2 years. I ain't been dealing with nobody or whatever. A lot of times I found out that was a lie. I've had a husband contact me one time. Yeah, I did. My life's like a movie. I'm pretty sure yours is, and yours is too. But yeah, that's a common answer that I hear. And like I said, nothing against you. That's what you had to do, because that's a lot of back-to-back trauma right there, to dump on someone. Luckily, I don't want to say luckily, because I don't think anything happens without purpose or design. Everything happens in divine order. Did he come along at the perfect time, your husband? Or was it like a bad timing for you when he came along?
No, it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
That's the best man I ever had. He came and he did what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And he showed me with his actions more than he did with his words. He's a man of few words. He don't do a lot of talking.
Right.
I do all the talking.
Right. Women's supposed to do all the talking. Yeah.
But yes, he came at the perfect time. But to go back to what you said about the whole 2-year thing, I didn't say that I was 100% celibate now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an all the time consistent thing. I probably dipped and dabbed maybe once or twice in a year within those few years that I was single. Because I'm still human.
But you weren't like dating consistently.
No, I was not in a relationship.
Yeah.
There was no man spending the night at my house, or I wasn't spending the night at his house. I wasn't meeting anyone's family.
Yeah.
But yes, my husband, he came at the perfect time.
So
I was ready.
Were you how it was? And I know I be having to chop this up because I be sitting here trying to pull words out of the sky, and when I be editing, I be like, damn, I gotta chop all this out. At these 2 years was long enough? And don't worry, you take a drink. I edit all that. You good? I be drinking water here anyway. No big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no big deal. How do you know 2 years was long enough, or not long enough? How did you know that you were ready to be open to a new relationship?
I knew I was ready because I was able to not be mad at my ex anymore. I was wishing him well. even though I was like, that was a kind of weird, that was a weird situation because we didn't end on bad terms,
Yeah.
quote unquote, because we were grieving the loss of our mom. So who had time for that? But I knew because I was not mad at him anymore. And I was able to actually be clear on what I wanted and what I was able to give and what I wanted to give to a man. Because I learned from my ex different things that I wanted to implement or not implement in my next relationship.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's how I knew, because I was no longer mad at my ex and I was very clear on what I wanted and what I was able to give in a relationship.
Got you. How did this come about? With how did you meet? Is it Chile?
Chile.
Chile,
Yeah.
like the country.
Yeah.
Chile. I don't want to mess it up. Okay. Now that I got it. Okay. So, how did you meet Mr. Chile? How did this happen? How did you guys encounter each other? Or did y'all know each other for a while prior?
No, we met each other on a dating app.
Okay. Continue. What dating app was that?
BLK.
BLK? Okay. So people do use that. Okay.
Oh yeah, we
go ahead.
met right before COVID hit in 2019. And in 2020, everything was closed, so we weren't able to really go anywhere. And he worked a lot, and I worked a lot. So the phone conversations that we had and the text conversations was enough to keep us both interested to actually plan a day to meet. So right before things shut down, we was able to meet at this Cuban spot. It was nothing fancy. It was just a regular little spot, and we had wine. And he put me on to yuca fries.
That's right. I like my juca.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And I felt like it was something else he put me on to that night, but I can't remember. And he would just, so eventually everything closed down. So he would come to my place. I would cook. We would color. We would drink wine. We would chill.
You said color?
Because I'm an artist, so I have paint supplies. I make beads, make waist beads and bracelets, and I have a sewing machine, and I do all kinds of stuff.
You a Virgo?
No, I'm an Aries on the Pisces cusp.
Okay, got you. So she's a cusper. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Got you.
We would just do creative things. When he would come over, I would cook and stuff like that, and then eventually, I would start going to his house as well. There was a garden in the backs, and so when it started getting hot outside, we would spray our feet with the water hose and have our swimsuits on and just sitting outside. And we was really building a friendship. Yeah, we weren't intimate yet. It really was just a friendship. And then, can I tell everything? Okay.
You already know what she's talking about, huh? Yeah.
And he wanted to get into a relationship, but I wasn't quite ready because my relationship had ended in 2018. Even though even though we ended in 2018, I had just moved out in 2019. I met him at the tail end of 2019, beginning of 2020. So I still wasn't ready to get into a relationship at that moment. He went and got a girlfriend. He was like, I'm not waiting on her. She don't know what she want. I know what I want. And needless to say, it didn't work out. And he's here with me right now.
Let me ask you this, because I've asked a lot of my guests. This has been a conversation on all my episodes. And I wish I had a mic to give Chile so that he could expound. But we can probably hear if you talk anyway on that, because the mic is close enough. I've asked my guests, because I have thoughts on whose idea it should be for a relationship. And I have my thoughts on whose idea it should be for a marriage. In my opinion, I think a lot of times in that case, like, this man obviously wanted to be in a relationship with you, but you weren't ready for it, but you were cool with us having a friendship, which is a relationship to a certain extent, but not to that next step.
Yes.
Did you feel like you just weren't ready, or did you feel when he said that like you were losing your freedom somewhat by him wanting to be in a relationship with you, try to lock you down?
No, I'm a relationship type of girl.
Yeah.
I love to be in a relationship. So
Okay.
I didn't feel like I was losing my freedom. I just wasn't ready.
You just wasn't ready.
And when I met him, he was very clear on what he wanted. He told me, I'm looking for my next wife.
That's right.
Because his first wife, she passed away. Rest in peace to the queen. I didn't know her. I didn't know him at that time. I met him after it happened. So when I met him, he said, I'm looking for my next wife. And I've just felt in his spirit that he meant that. And he's not someone to play with. Not to say that you should play with anybody. You know the difference between those who are serious and solid about what they're saying versus those that's just saying whatever they got to say to get whatever it is that they might be trying to get.
So what was your response when he said that to you? This is when y'all first met, right?
Yeah.
What was your response?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but knowing me, I probably was like, oh, okay. Okay, I like that. He know what he wants.
Okay. But you didn't think that was like too much? Okay.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. See, I'm a straight up type of person, and I appreciate when people are straight up with me. I don't like playing around, and I'm not saying playing around in the sense of we got to meet today and be together tomorrow. I'm saying if this is what you want, say it. If this is what you don't want, say that, and give me the opportunity to respect it. So I appreciated the honesty, and honestly, I was looking for something specific.
Yeah.
That is what I put in my profile on BLK. I'm looking for something specific, and it was very specific, but I refused to list what that was, and I refused to say what that was, because I don't want nobody to try to be that.
Try to be that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I firmly believe you should not tell somebody what it is that you're looking for. I definitely agree with that. Chile, do you remember what her response was when you told her that?
I don't quite remember exactly what she said.
Yeah.
But I think the conversation kind of went towards like, also you were married before.
Yeah.
And the situation with that.
Yeah.
And I was like her. I was very clear.
Yeah.
On the app, she was the first one I actually met.
Okay.
And matched with.
Got you.
And but I had a couple of others that kind of made the final pick.
Yeah.
And so everyone just started kind of like falling off, weeding out and whatnot. And I knew I wanted her, but I had to respect her time.
Got you. And obviously, and I know you said it didn't work out. Obviously, it didn't work out. But he was obviously intentional, which is dope. A lot of women, they complain that a man plays games and he's not intentional with what he wants. And obviously, you weren't ready at that point. So what happened when he went and got a girlfriend? How did you find out?
I don't know. I think he told me.
Did he ghost you? Did y'all stop talking?
Did you ghost?
Did you ghost her, or what
I
happened?
don't think he ghosted
We
me.
had a conversation about it because I don't know if at that point I had started receiving massage services from you.
Yeah, because when we met, he was not my client. He became my client eventually.
Okay.
He was paying me for services. But when he got into a relationship, no, you became my client after y'all broke up. Or before. I think it was before.
Before it happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I got into a relationship, I feel like we had the conversation, and then
Yeah.
It was no more services.
No more services.
And he was a great tipper.
Yeah.
and I was all the way in my relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And that lasted, 2 months into it. She said some foul stuff.
Yeah.
And I couldn't deal, but someone ended up having us talk it out, and I gave her another chance.
Yeah.
I never do that.
Yeah.
And once I break up with someone, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And but I knew when I got back with her, I knew exactly what I was going to get, and I got that. She was disrespectful.
Yeah, people don't change.
Say foul things.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it no more.
Yeah.
That went on for about 9 months, and I had to totally get out. Move her and her kids in the house.
Got you. Man.
After he had set a rule that he wasn't going to be with somebody with kids.
Yeah.
Well, no, after that.
Oh, that was.
I'm not rocking like that.
My first wife, I have bonus kids from
Yeah.
my first wife, and we were together for 10 years.
Mm.
I don't have any biological kids myself, so it's just like know there's someone out there that I can match with.
Yeah.
That I can just start fresh with.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all go through this 9 months. I'm assuming. I don't know if immediately after those 9 months. How did you guys come back together?
After they broke up and got back together.
Yeah. 9.
Okay,
yeah. It's
so-
a total of 9. Yeah. From what he said, 9 months, right? Yeah.
We were both skipping apart. So when they broke up, he hit me up and told me.
Yeah.
And when he told me what the disrespectful things were that she said, I felt so bad. And I knew how wonderful of a person he was. And I was like, he needs some relaxation and he needs to just be happy. I went over to his house and we were intimate that night.
That was the first time?
Yes.
This was 2 months into my relationship with the other girl. She said some foul stuff about my deceased wife.
Right. Which is bananas. But yeah, go ahead.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
And so I don't know. I looked at Ashley as a friend. We were friends, like she said. And so I hit her up, and we catching up on things. Oh yeah, well we done. I'm not dealing with her no more. She came over.
And we had a wonderful experience. And then the next day he came to my place and we had another wonderful experience, and I warmed up the leftovers that I cooked. I had cooked the food the day before. And then when he came over, I gave him the food. And so the 9 months after that happened, they got back together.
They got back together, yeah.
I didn't hear from him, so I reached out and I'm like, hey, how's everything? What's going on? And he told me immediately that they got mediated and they were going to try to work it out. So fast forward.
Being honest,
Yeah.
he could have just still been.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the whole time that he was in a relationship with her, before that and after that, he wasn't calling my phone.
He wasn't calling you.
He wasn't booking appointments. He wasn't texting me. So after all of that happened and we got together, he called me and he booked an appointment. No, he didn't call me. He just booked it online.
Yeah.
And I saw his name pop up. And I was like, oh, he must be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
He came, this is when I was at Cobb Galleria, and he came and got his appointment. He was my last person of the day. So I was cleaning and he was just hanging around, putting on his shoes or whatever. And somebody said, I'm hungry. And then somebody said, I think I might have said I'm hungry. And he was like, I'm about to get food right now. You want to go with me? And I was like, okay, sure. So we went to the Battery, which is right there. And he put me on to ramen. It's my first time having ramen. I grew up eating ramen noodles in the packet.
Yeah.
But not the actual ramen when
Yeah.
you go to the. So he put me on to that and boba tea.
That's right.
First time I had boba tea as well. And we was sitting down and he was sitting across from me and his eyes are green and then sometimes they hazel, and he was just looking at me with them eyes. And he never looked at me like that before. And we was talking about Kevin Samuel's content.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the Godfather. And we just clicked in a way that we didn't before. It was something different. And I think it was because of the friendship. Part of the something specific that I was looking for is a man that wasn't going to rush me, because I've mostly dealt with men who meet me and like, oh my gosh, I got to have you. I need to make you mine. And we didn't have a chance to build a solid friendship, a solid foundation. And I knew I didn't want to do that, especially as I'm getting older and I know marriage is coming.
Right.
So the fact that we really built that friendship, and then I saw how respectful he was about his relationship. Because, like you said, he could have just.
I know I would have.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have definitely been like, hey, because I'm just being, as a man, I'm just being honest. And, I may be a dirty dude. But as a man, some dudes would be like, yo, I'm going to play both sides. And so I think that says a lot about you, because a lot of dudes will be like, man, I don't want to mess up. Or I do want to mess up, but I don't. This, that, and the third. But yeah, so y'all had this date at the Battery with. Okay.
Yeah, ramen and boba.
Continue. Two of my favorite things, but yeah, go ahead.
And After that, he walked me to my car. I think we parked like next to each other or near each other. So we were standing outside in the parking lot talking for like another 30 to 45 minutes. We was talking about family stuff and just life. And from that point, we just was talking every day.
Inseparable.
And we talked about going on vacation. Because my mom used to always say, if you really want to get to know somebody, go on a road trip with them. Because you're going to get to see
everything
that you need to know, from the road to actually being at the destination and then the road trip back. So we both agreed. We went to Clearwater, Florida. And I told this man I love him on the beach as the sun was setting. Because I did. I really did. He gave me a chance to love him.
And what did he say?
He said something like, he know and he loved me too, and he been waiting.
Yeah.
He like been waiting on me or something. Yeah, we had a great time. And I was able to see him navigate through the world. And I was able to see him navigate through the world with me by his side and see how we communicate, how we problem solve, how he leads.
Right.
Yeah. And he cooked while we was there. He cooked this Indian dish that we both love that he put me on to called chana saag. He can cook. He can cook. It's chickpeas, spinach, and it's curry sauce.
You sound like me, man. A lot of this stuff you talk except like I said, I would have dealing with both them women. But he sound like me. Like you like the same stuff, like all the stuff. That dish, I don't know. I like my chicken tikka masala and my butter chicken and my naan. And I like all that, but I don't know what that is, So, but I know you just explained it. But yeah, go ahead.
It's a delicious dish.
Yeah.
But he cooked it all from scratch. He was in there slicing garlic and ginger and like it was a delicious meal. It rained a little bit, so we stayed in the house and we watched like movie night one of the nights. We was on the beach. We ate. We just had a great time. We just had a great time being together. And when we rode back, we listened to an audio book. One of my favorite books called The Way of the Superior Man.
That's right.
And
David Dita.
Yes.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
DEIDA or something like that. And he loves that type of stuff too. So we click in so many different ways, and we have so many different things in common. We're still different in ways, but we are more in common than not. Like the bigger picture is the exact same for us.
What's your sign, bro?
I'm a Libra on Scorpio.
Okay. Gotcha. Now it's a lot of reoccurring themes on my podcast here, and that one in particular was you told him I love you first, which a lot of people, but that's one of those changing points for a lot of relationships is who's going to say this first, and is it real? Is it fake? If I say it in response, do I really mean it, or do I feel like I'm being compelled to say it? Were you conscious when you said it?
Yes, I was.
You was conscious when you said it?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
We was on the beach. The sun was setting. The waves was coming. Our feet was sinking deeper and deeper into the sand, and we was looking around.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a lot of black people out there. The people that was out there was looking at us like they was mad at us or something. And I just was like, that's so sad that people are on the beach and they're just not having a good time.
Yeah.
You just mad. You looking at people evil. And I just was so thankful in that moment to just be with somebody who had a similar way of being and a similar mindset. And I told him I love him because, one, I did and I still do. And two, I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. So that's another reason how I knew I was ready to be in a relationship, because I wasn't afraid to take a chance. And number three, or maybe that's number four, I can't remember. But
you good. Just name them off. You good.
And I understand, like, I've learned so much from listening to my dad and my mom's husband. My mom's husband and her have been together since I was 3 years old. So
Okay.
I had grew up with two fathers.
Got you.
I learned so much from them. And then, to be honest, I don't want to be cliche, and I know a couple of my friends going to be mad, but I learned a lot listening to Kevin Samuels. And so I just want to be myself And being myself is, if I love you, I'm gonna tell you. I tell my friends I love them.
Yeah.
I be like, all right, girl, love you, boo. Text me when you get home.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. I am love. So at the end of the day, like, I told him that because that's what I meant, and I'm not and was not afraid to be vulnerable. And I also understand, like, somebody got to do it first. And I just
Yeah.
feel like women are usually the more mushy ones anyway. So just do what I feel is best. And if he don't accept it, then great. I know that I showed up
Yeah.
100%, and I know that I was myself, and I know that I did what felt right for me at the time, what I really meant. So I didn't feel like it would be a mistake
Yeah.
if he didn't accept
How you
it.
felt. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't live my life off of what I think how other people are going to react.
Gonna respond to it. Yeah, I asked you that because, and it wasn't like when I say were you conscious of it. I think sometimes it's, I don't want to say it's a higher power, a higher self that comes upon you and it just comes out. This is how you feel, but it's almost like that just came out. I don't know if you've ever,
I
if
know
that's
what
ever
you
happened to
mean.
you, but it's happened to me. Not in, specifically saying I love you, but just how you're feeling in a moment. And
Yes.
it just feels like something just,
Yes, it spilled out of
Yeah.
me, and I was okay with allowing it.
yeah.
It was like this man is wonderful, and I just be filled up. Yeah.
Got it. So, Chile, how did you know? Because we not getting to the point where you realizing this is your wife, but how did you know that this is the woman I wanted to be with?
Aside from the things, a lot of things that we had in common, and the conversations and things we shared, in comparison to the other women that I was seeing, it's like, okay, at least I can see what's more about her.
Got you.
And then I had a good foundation with my first marriage because my first wife, she was 13 years older than me.
Okay.
And so at the time when we got together, I was 25. So I grew into a man with her and the kids and whatnot, and I hit my head a lot. And she was very patient with me. And so, through, her sickness and her passing and things, it's just like, from that relationship, I knew I couldn't go beneath what she had.
Yeah, she set the standard. Yeah.
And yeah, she set the standard.
Yeah.
So when I met Ashley, it was like, I feel like I literally manifested her.
Yeah.
I said what I wanted and what I was looking for in a woman, and she just showed up like, this is me. And so when she said that I was ready to be in a relationship with her, and I was, but again, I had to respect her time and whatnot, and the relationship I ended up getting in, I told myself that I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah.
I told my
Yeah.
friends and family I wasn't
Yep.
gonna do it. I knew the girl was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was just, that man thing. See something pretty.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But it was just like she's a very authentic person. And I love the way that she loved. I learned a lot from her in terms of just self-development and just the growth. And so I knew from my previous marriage that this was going to be the next one.
Got you.
And then you also said that I can cook. Okay. Just wanted to put that out there.
I feel very spoiled with her.
Yeah.
From the massage, I have to be careful who I talk to about it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, my wife.
No, you're right.
Pedicures and stuff like. It's like I don't really have to want for anything.
Yeah.
And so I was very intentional with everything that I did with her. I even spoke to. So one of the girls that I was dating, we ended up just remaining friends. And I even spoke to her about it, like, I think this is her. What should I do?
Yeah.
And she walked me through it and everything. And then I had some friends from my first wife her friends I've talked to. So I had
Community.
a community
Yeah.
of women that I can just bounce things off of.
Mm-hmm.
It was more than just me getting into this relationship. I had a whole in-law family. I have the kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that I'm still involved with. I have my first wife's friends. I got all these people that's part of my life. So I had to include them in this decision. So, yeah.
Got you.
You know, it's still work and it's still not easy, but it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because you have to be vulnerable. You have to allow yourself to be in a space where, yeah, that was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I apologize. I have to apologize often. I feel because she has her own background.
Mm-hmm.
She grew up different from me.
For sure.
You know, we have similarities like being from the hood and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
She has her own background, her own triggers and things like that. And so I have to be mindful of that when I'm dealing with her.
Yeah.
Where I just think, well, I just said this, you know, what's wrong? And I don't feel like we really argue. We have our disagreements, but it always comes back to a place where we have a conversation about it because we can't just continue on with our day,
Mm-hmm.
just
Being mad.
Yeah. So it's like we talk it out, and then there's this moment of discovery,
Mm-hmm.
either on her part or my part, and it's not comfortable.
No, it's not.
Because your husband or your spouse or your significant other, they're supposed to be a mirror for yourselves. They're supposed to be able to reflect and show you, okay, this is what you're doing well, or this is what you're not doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we have to be grown up enough to receive that type of feedback.
Yeah.
Yes. And I apologize when I mess up because I want to treat people how I want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing apparently women are not accountable. I didn't know that was
Well,
a
you know
thing.
that apologizing is definitely oh no. So that's a breath of fresh air hearing that you're willing to apologize.
Yeah, I apologize. I make plates. I wash clothes. I fold them. Sometimes he helps me if I'm too busy or if I'm tired or whatever. But yeah, I do all of that.
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is.
That sounds like, and I don't see what the problem is either. But I think what I wanted to touch on was when you said you manifested her, and I thought about what you did because it seems you're a man of morals and principles. You seem like a righteous dude, but a lot of people try to manifest things and they don't conduct themselves in a way for that manifestation to come to life because they may be living a wayward life where they cheating, dealing with multiple women, got a starting five, which I don't think is anything wrong with a starting five. But if you're trying to manifest something,
You gotta make a choice.
yeah, you got to make a choice. And so for you to have manifested her and you were saying, well, I'm not going to play around with two women, as that's just one example. I'm pretty sure you were doing other things. But just by hearing you say that, I think that's a lot of times how things do come to pass because you do have men who will deal with a woman who's pretty, but everything else is jacked up. Like she don't do none of the stuff how you described Ashley. She doesn't do any of these extra things. You can't even get her to say good morning to you. But she's just pretty and give you some sex every now and then. And some dudes be having a hard time getting sex. It's a lot of things that guys deal with, and when you do encounter a person, which I think is what we all desire, is to have that person where it is effortless. And you say you guys do have disagreements, but it's not. We're willing to talk it out. I think Michael Jai White said that about his wife. He said they never argue because he said this has been my best friend, or this has been a friend, so we never argue. We have conversations, but I swear we never argue. So not that there's anything wrong with that, but I had a couple on here. I think the only other couple I had, and they had something called I don't want to misword it, but they both get naked. this is how they explain it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it to know what it's titled. But they both get in front of each other naked when they, like how you say you guys have disagreements, and hey, we got to come to some solution instead of being mad at each other or going to sleep angry at each other or whatever. And they just lay it out, whatever's going on. And I guess it's a form of inner communication as far as stripping down, where we're both meeting as two individuals without any clothes on, anything, and we're going to address whatever the issue is, which I'm assuming that may be couples therapy, that whatever type they went through. But I thought that was interesting, not to bring up the fact that they brought up having to get naked to do it. But I think some people, and it seems like you guys have such a cohesive relationship where you can just, I think effortless is what everybody wants. Like, and I'm not saying you guys don't put effort into it, but just where I don't have to struggle to communicate with you. I don't have to walk on eggshells. I don't have to have anxiety, which is the worst thing to be in a relationship when you got anxiety. You know what I mean? With that, I think that's pretty dope, man. At what point, how did this come about as far as the proposal? How did this happen?
I'm gonna start with the official, when we officially started.
So we got into a relationship July 2021.
Okay.
And it was the day we was coming from the gun range.
Okay.
I think we was coming from the gun range. And we set the date to be 1 year after. It was July 29th, 2021. So we said we're going to get married next year in 2022.
Okay.
So we set the date to get, no, that's not what happened.
I was saying about the restaurant. So
Okay, sorry.
on a random night, I think we were planning a date to go out, and I think this was the date of a conversation about.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. This is what happened.
This is after Clearwater?
This was after Clearwater.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a photo shoot.
Okay.
And I was sending him the raw edits. I just wanted him to see. And he took one of the photos and he saved it and he drew on it. And he circled my left hand and put an arrow. And then he said, "What size is that?" and sent it to me.
Okay.
I was like, I was stuck again. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm just looking at the phone like, oh my gosh. And then the conversation was something about, I said, we should talk about this in person.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Because he had said something about us being in a relationship. And I was like, I think there's something we should talk about in person. He said, okay. So here are 3 dates that I'm available. Pick one. He sent me 3 dates that he was available.
To meet up to discuss this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So I know.
Yeah.
This is what I mean when I say actions and not many words.
Yeah.
So he said, these are 3 days, pick one. I picked one. Then he said, okay, here's 3 locations, 3 restaurants. Pick one. Because he know I love food. I only love good food.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's vegan. I don't care. It just needs to be good.
Right.
And then we also love healthy food too.
Yeah.
So he sent 3 restaurants. I picked one. That date came. I showed up to the restaurant. I had on my little dress and heels. And he came in there. He had on his hard bottoms and his button up.
You had on some wingtips? No. Yeah, some Oxfords. Okay. Yeah.
And he was clean. And I'm like, okay, number one, I already know he a grown man because he was married for so long.
Yeah.
And to a woman that's 13 years older.
Right.
So you can't not know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, now I'm side-eyeing you like, so you ain't know. So he was dressed nice and we sat there. We had a beautiful conversation about the terms of a relationship, what it looks like for him, what it looks like for me, what it means. We even talked about like friends. Is it okay to still keep friends, male friends or female friends or whatever? So we talked about the details. We probably spent about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours in that restaurant.
I think it was like the last one.
We were, I think
Yeah.
we shut it down. And so that was the day, July 29th, 2021. And then the following year happened, and I knew he was going to propose. Because like I said, when we first met, he was saying, I'm looking for my first wife.
Yeah, you already knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I already knew.
Yeah.
So I knew he was going to propose, but I didn't know exactly when.
Yeah.
So as our 1 year anniversary was approaching, I'm talking to my friends, my best friend living.
Did you know it was the 1 year anniversary?
Yes.
Okay.
July 29th.
Yeah.
Because
So
that was our 1 year of us being in a relationship.
Got it. So this was like an official date that night, that dinner. So it was like, we locking this in. Okay. I would have forgot that shit. But
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm talking to my best friends, Kia. I mentioned Kia and
Yeah.
Denise. Shout out to Denise. Love you, boo. Denise is in Virginia. That's my friend. That's my sister since
gotta look
kindergarten.
up.
As the 1 year anniversary was approaching,
Okay.
I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, y'all, so I know he's going to propose. I just don't know when. I got to get mine. As you can see, my nails are not done. I'm a massage therapist, and I give bomb massages because of these fingers.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do get my nails done. So I get them done maybe for a year at a time and stop. But at this time, I was not getting my nails done. So I'm like, I got to get my nails done. I got to do this. I got to do that. Because they kept saying, just make sure you have your nails done. Make sure you have your nails done. So I ended up buying these press-on nails that I still didn't put on. So we went to Dogwood. Is it Dogwood? Driftwood Beach
Okay.
near Savannah, right?
You want to talk about the jewelry store?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm moving too fast.
Okay.
So the anniversary is approaching. I know that he's going to propose. I just don't know when, where, or how. So he was telling me that his budget wasn't where he wanted it to be. The ring that I would have to get would have to be around like a smaller amount. Can I say the number? So he said the ring have to be $2,500, and I'm like, okay. That's not an issue to me. Let's go to the mall. Let's go to Zales. Let's go to K.
Yeah.
Let's go to Solomon Brothers. Let's go see what they doing over there. So then he was like, actually, I only have about $300 to get your ring. And I was like, all right, well, let me start looking on Amazon. So I started looking at gold bands because I love gold. I started looking at gold bands on Amazon. I'm sending him stuff. I'm sending him matching bands. And so this went on for about 2 weeks. And we had a trip planned to go to Driftwood Beach near Savannah for Kat's birthday, his first wife. We usually go to the water around her birthday, July 3rd. So we went there, and I'm thinking that we just about to do what we do. So we just going to be at the beach. We going to get some drinks. We going to read. We going to listen to the music. We just going to chill. And we end up looking for a spot to settle. And that turned into like a whole project. And so I'm like, let's just find any area. It doesn't matter, babe. Like, let's just find any place. Let's just get settled. So we found a spot. We get settled. And at this point, I'm ready to read my book and drink some wine and relax on the beach.
Yeah.
And he was like, you want to go for a walk? And I'm like, no, babe, I don't want to go for a walk. But then the mosquitoes and the ants just kept messing with me. So I was like, all right, let's just go for a walk. So we started going for a walk down the beach. And next thing you know, I see my best friend Denise from kindergarten just come out the bushes. And I was like, I was like, Denise, what you doing here? She was like, nothing. That's literally what she said. Yeah. Nothing. So I gave her a hug, and I'm still thinking. Now, mind you, I had seen a rose petal on the ground. And I just didn't get a chance to acknowledge it because Denise popped out the bushes.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I thought about the rose petal. Like, oh, somebody probably did something romantic, and that's a little leftover rose petal that's still here. And so she gave me a hug. We give each other a hug, and she spins me around. Nothing clicked in my head at this point. She spins me around, and I hear our playlist. I hear this song that is not a mainstream popular artist. It's not a song that most people might not know. And I'm thinking, like, who's listening to that all the way down here at Driftwood Beach in Savannah?
Yeah.
And so she spins me around, all of these things are processing in my head, but I'm still not like fully realizing what's happening. So when she spins me around and she let me go, I think I looked in this direction and I saw like rose petals and something. So I walked down like this little hill. It was very close, but it was like a little hill, just a little hill. And I saw him on his knee with a ring in his hand. It was the rose petals in the shape of a big heart. It was a bucket in the middle with like 2 or 3 bottles of champagne. The speaker had the playlist going. And I just was frozen.
Yeah.
Once again.
You didn't know what was going on?
I knew it was going on at that point.
Yeah.
But I was frozen. And then he was like, I think he said, yeah, he said,
I need an answer.
yeah.
I didn't beg it to the center of the heart. I was
Yeah.
supposed to kneel down to the
Yeah,
heart,
yeah.
but I thought that she was going to catch me. Like,
Yeah, you catch it. Yeah.
I was so nervous. And I just kneeled.
Yeah.
And I went. I was like, dang, I really did have the amount of time.
You had enough time to get there. Yeah.
But,
Yeah. And so I gave him an answer. I said yes. And yeah, we had some champagne. Denise took pictures of us. We took pictures of each other. People was walking by and I kept yelling out to people, I said yes. And they was clapping and saying,
I thought you was about to say I was married. That's what I thought you was about to say just now. But go ahead.
Almost.
Yeah.
So that was what the Driftwood Beach trip was for him to propose to me. I thought that was July 3rd. I thought he was going to propose to me on our anniversary, July 29th. But he didn't because he didn't want to be obvious.
Exactly.
And it makes sense because that's what I just knew. I was preparing for that day, which is why my nails wasn't done.
Yeah.
And so then we was like, we're going to get married on our anniversary on July 29th. So we got married less than a month later after the proposal. We planned a very small, intimate wedding. We got married in Snellville in front of a pond. It had a little bridge and a gazebo, and the geese showed up. The sun was setting. Our wedding started at 7:00 at night. And we did a little photo shoot before we had the ceremony, and then we did another photo shoot after. So the sun was setting, and it was just it was perfect. It was less than 10 people there. It was some of our closest people. Everybody wasn't able to make it, which is understandable. But we had some of our closest people there to witness our love. And yeah, it was perfect.
And then this was a month later.
Yes.
That's what's up, right?
Less than a month.
Less than a month, excuse me. Less than a month. Sheesh.
the ring that I actually got for her was a ring that she had been on social media. She's just been going on like different pages, jewelers' pages, and I knew she was like, "This is the one. This the ring I like." I knew she really liked it, but I customized it a little bit.
Yeah.
The diamond.
Yes, it's a heart diamond. This is a rare cut. Most people don't have this. You can get it if you want it, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful piece of jewelry that I've ever owned. And I love that it represents my boo.
So I know both of y'all kind of said what you like about each other, because that's typically a question I ask everyone. You guys have already answered that. But as far as what did you do, because obviously you brought up Kevin Samuels, and a lot of women, when we get into this whole statistics of almost 30% of all black women only 30% of all black women actually get married. What did you do, or did you feel like you had to do anything to become this wife beforehand?
Yeah.
To be in this point?
Technically, I was raised to be a wife because my mom was the only man I ever seen my mom with is her husband. And they've been together since I was 3. She's deceased now, but when she passed away, they were married.
Yes.
So I seen my mom do everything that she did, all the things that wives do, quote unquote. I seen my mom cook and make plates and be respectful to her husband and allow him to have the last word, or not try to, like, I seen her treat a man how you supposed to treat a man. And so I would say I was raised to be a wife. However, with me seeing some of those things as a child, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like, well, you don't have a mind of your own. You're doing what your husband said.
Yeah.
But as an adult now, it's not about that. It's actually conversations that take place behind closed doors that kids don't hear. So it's not that she don't have a mind of her own. It's that they probably already have had an understanding about this thing. And I'm coming in just at this particular moment, making a judgment, thinking I know what's happening with no experience at life. So it was things that I grew up seeing that I didn't really like. So I used to have a rule. I'm not making a plate for a man. I'm not making him water. I'm not massaging his back. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not washing his clothes. I'm not doing that. That literally used to be me. But I had to get me listening to Kevin Samuels and actually just really truly putting my personal opinion and feelings aside and really just listening to what a man has said is that really just simplifies the whole process.
Right.
Women, if you really want what you need from your man, just actually listen to what he's saying. Listen to the point that they're making, and stop taking it personal and thinking that you're being attacked. Right. Sometimes that might be the case, but that's not always the case. If you're with a good man, he's not attacking you. So he might be bringing a different perspective. He might be just trying to help you see something that maybe you didn't see before. But it's definitely some things that I had to change about myself. It was my perspective about serving a man. It was my perspective and my understanding of what it means to be a wife. With every relationship, you're going to customize. So what's good for this relationship might be bad for the next relationship and vice versa. But the role of a husband and the role of a wife it's a role with preset conditions.
Yeah.
It's there already. You don't come into it making it what you think it is. It's already there until you and your partner decide, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to do it like that. We're going to do it like this instead. And in this department as well. So you can customize it according to the people that come together. But yeah, I had to understand that I had to change my mindset about being a wife, what that meant, what it looked like. Not to take everything personal and not use my man as my therapist.
Very well said. So for people here in Atlanta, I know obviously you've been here, a lot longer than Ashley, but you have been here obviously a hot minute, 10 years, right?
Yep.
For people coming to Atlanta who are already here, maybe looking to find people or meet people, where are some, and it doesn't have to be a specific place, where are the best places in Atlanta to meet people?
I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Honestly, I think you need to know yourself and figure out what you like and go to those places. Yeah. Because you're probably going to see other people that like that thing. So if you have that in common, it's possible you might have other things in common.
For sure.
So know yourself so that you can figure out where you want to be. That's number one, or what you like to do. Number two, I would say places that are wholesome. So stay away from the clubs, stay away from the bars, stay away from the strip clubs, stay away from stuff like that if you're actually looking for someone who wants something that is significant. But definitely go to places that are wholesome. I would say, like, maybe, and it might sound a little nerdy or cliche to people, but so what? We're grown. Go to the bookstore. Go sit at Starbucks. You're going to see people with their laptop because they working on something, whether it's an independent project or whether it's they working for their job. I would say festivals that are related to, or events that are related to things that you like, wholesome things.
Yeah.
So if it's a book signing, or if it's poetry, or if it's actual dance, not the club, but I'm saying like a dance lessons.
Yes.
Or aerobics. And I know people say, I'm not trying to meet nobody at the gym. Yeah, that's perfect. You're absolutely right until you meet that person at the gym. Everybody has the rule that they're not going to meet the person at the gym because that's not what they're there for until they meet that person. And it could happen on the accident. Yeah. It could happen because you saw them and you wanted to get in their view. Now you in their view and now they looking at you and now you looking at them. So be in the wholesome places, not the wholesome places.
That's right. Yeah.
If you are a church goer, go to church. But what I hear is not really a lot of men at the church. That's what I hear.
That's what I heard too. Unless they,
Yeah.
yeah, you know. So,
Yep.
shout out to those players.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because we love everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know if church would be the best place, but go. You never know who you might find. You might be that person that's there for that one man that's in there. You just never know. What else would I say? Museums, absolutely. Museums, fundraisers, mentor type of things, mentee type of things. Like, it's basically things where people are trying to refine themselves.
Yeah.
Areas where people are expressing themselves in a clean way. Just stay out the club. Don't go to the cigar bar. Don't go to the strip club. You're not going to meet anybody that's going to treat you right. More than likely, who is in there. It might be, but you're taking a shot in the dark, and it's not worth it to do it. So, yeah.
Very well said. How about you, Chile? What do you think? What's some?
I would pretty much echo the same thing. Like, go to the places that you're interested in. Like, if you're into like organic foods and clean eating, like go to a farmer's market
Yes.
Yeah.
or something like that, and bump into somebody at the same stand. Like, what is this fruit?
Yeah.
What is this vegetable? And then that's how things go. But definitely, in order to do these things, you have to know yourself.
Got you.
You have to know yourself. And a lot of people think that they know themselves and they don't. Because they haven't done the work or been alone enough to be able to identify certain things about themselves and actually learn themselves. They only know themselves through relationships with other people. And so then we carry on that baggage from that.
Yeah.
So it's just, get to know yourself first, and then like go to these places on your own, and just not really with the intentions of finding someone, but sometimes it literally just falls in your lap like that. You're not trying to meet, you're not trying to necessarily go there to meet someone, but you're going there because you heard this farmer has nice tomatoes.
Yeah.
You heard there's a nice exhibit going on at the High Museum,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom, she catch your eye.
Yeah.
And you go from there, and then you definitely have to go back to the golden rule and treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
A lot of times we throw stones and we're in glass houses and we don't expect for that to come back at us.
Right.
You have to treat the person who you say and claim you love as if you're doing this to yourself.
Yep.
Because essentially you are. And just it's very rewarding. Ashley and I, we compete on how much the one person can love better.
And who can give the best surprises.
And who can give the best surprises. And it's fun. And it's,
Yeah.
like I said, it's very rewarding.
Yeah. I like how you said, because you say something that I say pretty often as far as not trying to meet someone. It's approaching from a state of neutrality where you're not attached to the outcome, and it will fall in your lap. My man used to tell me that years ago when I got divorced, because I used to be like, man, I can't. No, I wouldn't say I can't, but but I would be like, man, I'm in a drought, man. I'm in a drought. Because he used to always tell me, shout out to my man D Wiggs, he used to always like try to teach me that side of the game, because I got married when I was 19, and I was married for all of my 20s. And by the time I was getting divorced, I was a single father getting divorced. And it's awkward, especially if you don't know how to deal with women. You know how to talk to women. You just been used to talking to this person. So getting back out in those streets is something else. So he was like, yo, just chill, just relax. It'll fall in your lap. He would always say that. He was like, yo, it'll fall. I was like, how do you know that? He was like, because it always does. He was like, a lot of people, they're so focused on meeting someone or trying to meet someone. And I know it's good to have intention, but it's good to, as you said, another good thing is enjoying your own company and going out to share yourself with the world, for lack of a better term, to have a good experience, not necessarily to meet somebody. And I think that's when it shows up or it pops up when you're not even, and I think that's how a lot of people meet people, is not actually looking. And that's how they do find, the love of their life or whatever,
I didn't think I was going to find anything significant on a dating
Yeah.
Me
I
neither.
was married for 10 years, and so I was like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I created like profiles for this one, that one, and this one, and I was just like, I knew it had to satisfy some needs and things, but
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna find anything significant.
Yeah.
And it's just like, when you're really not looking, that's when your blessings come.
Mm-hmm.
That's when your intimate moments with yourself, or when like you're praying for the things that you want.
Yeah.
That's when you start. But we have to be in a position to see and to be aware that okay, this is that.
Signs are for the conscious mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to be able to identify. Okay, this is the thing that I've been asking for.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we blow it over. It's like, oh, he ain't 6'5". I'm 5'6". I'm never gonna be that 6 foot dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That gets the girl like that. But I got the one.
Yeah.
I got her. She ain't gonna know
Yeah. Well, no, well said. Well said. I'm glad you said that, because it's there are men who and women as well, because I think social media has created this space where if you haven't met these characteristics that certain people are talking about, i.e. what you said, the 6 foot thing, or as far as a woman being a size 4 or a size 3 and XYZ, I'm not going to get a man. Same thing if you're a single mom, you're never going to find a man. Yeah. So I think social media is responsible for those things as well. But it's people out here that are getting married, are finding the love of their life, are finding their person. And it's a reality. It doesn't matter how tall you are. There's somebody for everybody. There's tons of people. But all in all, we talked about meeting people, the best place to meet people. What is it that you say, and I think both of you probably already answered this, as far as maintaining a long-standing, loving marriage, even though I know you guys have been married 2 years now. What do you think have been the keys to success for both of you for maintaining this? And I think y'all probably already covered some of these, but just to wrap it up.
Yeah, for sure. I would say definitely knowledge of self. I would say knowing how to fight fair, because sometimes people just take things way too far with what they say and what they do, throwing things and putting their hands on people and all that type of stuff. Communication. And that's not only communication when things are going bad, but communication when things are going good too, because positive reinforcement. I would also say continue to be and do the things that attracted your partner in the first place. If they like that you wear muumuus, wear your muumuu. My husband loved when I got on the long African gown and got my little head wrap on. He loved that when I'm at home. And I love it too, because it's comfortable. And I feel, I feel like
like the flow.
Yeah. Continue to do and be who you were and what you were doing when your partner met you, AKA taking care of yourself. And I also would say continue to grow, because you want, for your own personal self, you want to always get better as time goes on, even if it's incrementally. And then you'll be an inspiration to your partner. And they just love you a little bit more because they see the work that you're putting in to become the better version of yourself for you, but also they get to benefit. I would say those are some of the things that's coming to mind right now.
Got you. How about you, Chile?
It was 3 things that I required for my lady. I said it to everybody.
Yeah.
Honesty, loyalty, and respect.
Yes.
And everything else just kind of spills off from that. But like if you say you love this person, you really care about them, like all of those things have to be in order. You respect them, like you said, don't fight dirty. Don't call people out their names.
Yeah.
Because now we're laying the foundation for something toxic.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I did and I continue to do is I talk to my elders. I talk to people who are in long relationships, healthy relationships, and just ask advice on that. It's just like, well, made it work for you. And then, you know, definitely you have to know yourself. But I think Ashley pretty much hit all the nails on the head. Like, you just gotta just be a kind person. You know, if you say you want something significant, there's a lot of changing that you have to do because you're no longer living this single life. Like, you're a different person than your single self.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be a lot more selfless, and just share life. I mean, it's very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Very rewarding. So I would say those things.
Awesome. Well said. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up for show. Where can people find you at if they want to? Because I don't know if you want to get into what you do or whatever, but or if you offer any services or anything like that. Offer any services. Oh, where can people find you at if they want to? Obviously, you mentioned your book. We're going to have all this stuff in the description as well. But if they want to patronize you or any of your businesses, where can they find you at?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. If I can just say,
For sure.
it's manuelmedia.com. We own a media company. My husband is a camera professional. He's been doing this for almost 20 years. Reality shows, game shows, movies, regular shows, series is what it's called. But our business is Manuel Media. You can find us on Instagram. We're about to be offering drone photography.
Mm-hmm.
We do video production. We do photography, videography, different services like that. For me, you can find me at my personal page is infinite_empress. My business page is Black Oasis Luxury. No special spelling, Black Oasis Luxury, where I offer massage therapy, yoga services, Reiki, as well as wellness. I'm sorry, not wellness, but mindfulness workshops, excuse me. And if you want to purchase my book, you can find my book on Amazon. You can also click the link in my bio on my Instagram page and you'll see it there.
And all of that will be in the description of this video as well for you guys to check out. So you guys have a media company? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
That's dope. Okay. So you're into photography and videography. Yeah. I need to get me I've been telling people because I was planning on doing like a dating show eventually. But I need to get a setup where I have somebody following me or just have a camera guy following me around and doing stuff like that, just filming content or whatever. But yeah, that's dope. Y'all got that going on. Y'all got y'all got the hustle. That's hustle game right there. Getting after it. So that's what it's about. Yeah. That's as a unit. I think that's what a lot of people look for is for not just family is business, business is family, in my opinion. And that's how it's always been. It seemed like as of recently, it seemed like it's not supposed to be that way. But, and I'm just like, man, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing it. They working and they supporting the business as a whole. But yeah, it's been great. I think this has been one of the more, insightful episodes. One of it's especially it's good. I like having couples on for sure. I wish we would have got you on, even though we still heard your voice. I wish we would have got you on because I think people do enjoy hearing about couples' journeys and how they came together. Because to me, it's almost the same way of people having a spiritual awakening or coming to a certain part. It's always an interesting story. Same thing with relationships a lot of times and marriages. It's an interesting story how things fall into place. And how I see things is it's almost like a play. That's how I look at life, is like a play. We have characters. The best actors get the best parts. And you got these good roles, and then you just going through life, and things just appear at certain times. Serendipity and synchronicity and everything, which is dope. And to actually come to a point where you find or you come across a person, because a lot of people, as y'all already know, never get to experience that.
Yeah.
Never. A lot of people either are single all their lives, womanizers, prostitutes, whatever have you. And they never find a person, and they just end up alone or just can't find a person because of either bad decisions or making bad choices or just not doing the work. to find that, I think, is definitely a beautiful thing and a blessing, in my opinion. Because I think, I don't care how much of a player you are, you can lie and say certain things, but I think everybody wants somebody.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you're not designed as a human being to be alone. Just my thoughts. Any final words before we get up out of here?
I would just agree with the last few things that you said. Do the work. If it's something that you say that you want out of life, as it relates to your relationship as well. People go to work every day and they follow rules and they respect the boss. They don't talk back, but they still are able to express their opinion in a professional, in a respectful way. And your relationship is similar to that. Your romantic relationship is similar to that. And from both sides, from the man to the woman and from the woman to the man, there is a mutual level of respect. So just do the work. That's really all I can say. But that's not to say that I'm perfect or that my husband is perfect or that our relationship is perfect. Everything in life is going to come with opportunities to grow, opportunities to expand your mindset. And sometimes those opportunities don't feel good. Sometimes you have to humble yourself. Sometimes you have to realize where your fault lies and take out what they did. Yes, they did something, but at this particular moment, my reasoning for thinking like this is because I'm trying to figure out what did I contribute? How could I have done something different or better? Or what would I like to do better the next time? Disregarding what they did for the sole purpose of refining myself and showing up the best way that I can. Yeah, and thank you so much for having me. And my husband, he just we didn't know. So he wasn't prepared. He just came from his martial arts class and just hopped in the shower, threw his sweatsuit on, and came. But we would love to come back. I would love to come back. And listen. You said so many things that I didn't get a chance to respond to.
Yeah.
Especially about the relationship stuff, about, oh my gosh, all of that. Yeah, definitely. I want to talk more about it.
Yeah, it's all good. We still got some commentary from out of Chile. So
yes,
out of your husband. But yeah, you was about to say something, brother. Go ahead.
So, I would say my final words and thoughts would be just be patient. With yourself. Be patient with the person who, like, if you eventually end up in a relationship, be patient with that person, and then just trust the process. Because there is a process, and I think I had something else, but it left.
It happens, brother. Yeah, it happens, man. But well said, though. Yeah, trust the process for sure. But yeah, definitely in the future, if I would have known, I would have definitely let you know. I'm like, hey, just tell him, hey, man, be camera ready, even though I don't see anything wrong with you. But for you, for your own, for your own self, I understand you want to look, because it's about how you see yourself. So I definitely understand that. But yeah, definitely in the future, get something going and attack some more, not avenues, some more topics and things like that, for sure.
Yeah, because I know somebody going to call me a pygmisha.
Yeah, you got weirdos, and yeah, it's a bunch of weird. Y'all know if y'all read comments on anything, you got weirdos.
I'm always in the comments.
Drag her out of the comments.
Yeah.
Because I won't watch the video. I'm looking at the
People
comments.
go straight to the comments. Yeah.
Yes, but it's okay because pygmishas have been chosen.
There you go. There you go. And that's when they just look. And I don't care who you are. You just have to respect that. It's if you prefer being that way, it's in terms of just being alone. And I'm not saying you're bitter necessarily, but if you prefer, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I would never do that.
If you like it, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. If you like it, I love it. If you prefer to be that way and just be a serial dater or whatever, more power to you. But yeah, it's been great. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. Like I said before, guys, it's your favorite everything. I'm going to have Ashley's information as well as her husband Chile's information, all the business, all the handles below for you guys to check it out and patronize it. For sure, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next videos. It's going to pop up on the screen below. If you guys are in the Atlanta area and you're interested in sharing your story on the Atlanta Noir podcast, please feel free to click that link below. And with that being said, man, again, it's your favorite everything. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace. That was awesome.
Hey.
That's one down. Oh, that's y'all saying right there? Oh, yeah.